Hello students, hope you all are doing well. Today we will start our second poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Before starting this chapter, I wanted you to recall your elementary school. So as a discussion part, virtual discussion, I put one question and I was expecting that comment box would be flooded with your replies, but somewhere I didn't find that the enthusiasm. I received only a few, but all these replies are wonderfully described. And I must say, students, you have amazing expression. You all have described wonderfully. Lovely. The poet of this poem, Stephen Spender, was an English poet, novelist, and essayist. He was very much interested in politics. Social injustice and the class struggle are the main themes of his work. So this poem is an effort of social reformation, and it's a hard-hitting poem by Stephen Spender which describes the social inequalities which are prevailing in the society. In the poem, the poet has described the condition of the students of an elementary school which is situated in a slum area. Hope you know slum area. Slum is an area of a city where living conditions are extremely bad, and the buildings are dirty and have not been repaired for a long time. You can see poverty and disorganization in such area. So in this poem also, the poet has presented such slum. The poet wants to draw attention of everyone towards these kids so that their life can be improved and they may get trained to become good citizens rather than criminals. An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, Poem and Explanation, Stanza 1. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So the poet describes the children who study in an elementary school which is set up in a slum area. The poet says that the faces of children are dull and without any energy. They are not full of energy like other kids of their age. These children are compared to unwanted weed. Here the writer wants to say that these children seem to be unwanted, like the unwanted weeds which grow on their own in the fields. Their hair is not neatly done. It falls on their pale faces as if they have been torn apart. The children are untidy, they haven't combed their hair. Then he describes a tall girl who seems to be burdened by poverty. Her head is bent, maybe because of tiredness or shame. There is another boy who's so weak and thin that he has been compared to a sheet of paper. The boy's eyes reflect greed and he wants to achieve everything. Then he describes another student who is physically disabled. The poet says that this boy is unlucky because he inherited a disease from his father, due to which he has a deformed body. Instead of getting any facility from his father or parents, he has received a disease in heritage. This disabled boy is sitting on his bench and is reciting his lesson. At the back of the class in dim dark area was a small boy who was not visible to the poet as he was sitting in darkness. The poet could see his eyes, which were bright and full of a dream. He was not paying attention to the class. It seemed as if he was rather interested in playing with squirrels in the tree house. Here are the difficult words with meaning which will help you to understand the poem easily. These are the poetic devices which have been used in stanza 1. An elementary school classroom in a slum, poem and explanation, stanza 2. On sour cream walls donations. Shakespeare's had cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, veiled, flowery Tyrolese valley, open-handed map awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, the world where all their future is painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. The poet describes the walls of the school. They are cream in color, like the color of sour cream. This means that the walls are not clean. They have not been painted recently. The walls are covered with different charts and images that must have been donated by different people. There is a picture of Shakespeare on the wall. You all know William Shakespeare, the great dramatist of all time. His head, which is bald, looks like the rising sun at the horizon. At the time of daybreak, the sun is rising at the horizon and is semicircular like a dome shape. It seems to be behind all the cities. There's a picture of the famous Tyrolese valley which has beautiful flowers. There is the image of a map which has all in its own way. But for these children, the map of the world is irrelevant because the slum where they live is different from what is shown in the map. The world is only what they see out of the window of the classroom. The slum. Their future is full of darkness. Their future is compared to a narrow street, which means that there is no wide scope available for their future growth, whether they'll get education or not further. These children are far away from the radiant light of knowledge and education. Here are the difficult words with meaning which will help you to understand the poem easily. Metaphor, allusion, and repetition, these three poetic devices have been used in second stanza. Metaphor and repetition I already described in poetic devices chapter. Now allusion, it's a poetic device in which a brief and indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance is given. An elementary school classroom in a slum, poem and explanation, stanza 3. Surely, Shakespeare is wicked. The map, a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass, like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot on their maps with slums as big as doom. The poet further says that these children living in the slum area have faced so many hardships that they feel every other person to be their enemy. For them, Shakespeare is an evil person. They don't know who was Shakespeare, what was his greatness. They don't find map to be a good thing because they are not walking here and there. They are not going here and there. They are staying in that one area, in that slum only. They were never liked or loved by anyone. Therefore, they hate almost everyone. The desire of being loved by others forces them to steal. They live in small homes and they have started adjusting to it. Their life is going towards an endless night. This means that their future is full of darkness. These kids are so thin that one can easily see their bones through the thin layer of skin. Their skin is like the thin layer of cloth, and the bones beneath are visible through the skin. These kids suffer from malnutrition. They wear spectacles which are made of steel. They are cheap and very uncomfortable for them. Even the lenses in the spectacles are repaired. The spectacles look like stones which have been repaired with pieces of glass sticking out of them. Here the poet tries to explain that these kids have to face so many hardships in their lives. As these slums are getting bigger, they will destroy the future of these children, and it is very difficult for such kids to escape from them. Here are the difficult words with meaning of third stanza. Metaphor, simile, and alliteration, poetic devices have been used beautifully in this stanza. An elementary school classroom in a slum, poem and explanation, stanza 4. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs, break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open history, theirs whose language is the sun. The poet says that the government should take notice of the problems being faced by these kids. He urges them to change the life of these children and make the world map a reality for them. There is a need to break the restrictions which are put on them due to poverty and lack of resources. He wants the governor and public to help these kids in achieving their dreams, as this will take them away from fog to azure sky. The poet here wants to say that in this way the children can be taken away from the darkness of their present to a bright future, and then they can become responsible citizens. He wants these children to experience the sense and the beauty of nature, as this will lead to a desire of gaining knowledge. They will then go through the white and green leaves. Here white leaves depict books and green leaves depict nature. This will then result in their progress, and they will be able to paint a bright future for themselves as well as for the whole society. Here you can find the difficult words with meaning of stanza 4. In this stanza, the poet has used two poetic devices, metaphor, which you already know, and anaphor, which means use of repeated words or expression at the beginning into consecutive lines. Consecutive means back-to-back lines.